what's up you guys? It's Kate and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a vinyl record collection video at request of a subscriber who left a comment. Shout out to her for recommending this idea. I've had records in a record collection for the past few years and I love listening to vinyl. It's just so great. And I actually never had the idea to actually share what records I have. I do have a rather large collection, some being hand-me-downs from my dad and others being ones I bought myself. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video of me sharing my records with you. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe down below and let's just get into the video. Alright, so next to me I have a huge pile of records and I don't even know where to start because it's kind of overwhelming. But let's start with the first album I grabbed, which is Elvis. This is the second Elvis album I ever bought. The first one was a Christmas album and this is the I Got Lucky album by Elvis. I'm a huge Elvis fan. I actually didn't start listening to him until I started listening to vinyl. This album has songs such as I Got Lucky, What a Wonderful Life, I Need Somebody to Lean On. My other Elvis album is a Christmas album. It is the Merry Christmas Baby Elvis album, and it has songs such as White Christmas, my personal favorite, Blue Christmas. It's so beautiful and gets me into the Christmas season every single time. So next we are moving on to my favorite album of all time, my Grease album. I'm obsessed with Grease. I love Grease. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Don't watch Grease 2. It's trash, I guarantee you. It's a classic and I love it. It's my favorite musical, possibly my favorite movie as well. And the soundtrack is amazing and I got this for my birthday and I will listen to all these songs on repeat. Grease Lightning, for example, is such a bop. Summer Nights is all over. I'm obsessed with this album and it's probably my favorite in my collection. Next, I have a ton of Beatles albums, you guys, because if you did not know, I'm a huge Beatles fan and I have been ever since I was a kid. And I was just kind of raised on the Beatles. Like, they are a staple in my life and I listen to them non-stop, especially when I'm driving. So this is the Hard Day's Night album by the Beatles. I also have a few other Beatles albums, including this Hey Jude Beatles album with songs such as Revolution and Paperback Writer. This is the Beatles Abbey Road album, which was a gift I got for my birthday. It has my favorite Beatles song ever, which is Here Comes the Sun, and it just makes me really happy and I love listening to this. I've probably played it 10 times more than I've played any of these other records. Alright, so next in the pile I have a Bruno Mars album, and it is the Doo-Wops and Hooligans album, and it has songs like Our First Time, The Lazy Song, Marry You, and my childhood favorite, Just the Way You Are, which inspired me when I was probably 13 years old. I love Bruno Mars. He's amazing. I'm a huge fan. He is my husband. Everybody else can back off. I've been obsessed with him since I was little, so he is my man. I love Bruno Mars. This is probably one of my favorites. I got this for my boyfriend, so. Alright, so next I have another movie soundtrack, which is the Footloose soundtrack. And Footloose is another great throwback movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I would suggest you go watch it. It's a great one. It's a classic and the music is amazing. So one of my favorite artists is Mac DeMarco, and he's an indie artist. And these are the two albums I have of his. The first being the Another One album, and it has some of my favorite songs on here. This is the first album I ever heard by Mac DeMarco, so it's definitely a throwback for me and just kind of reminds me of when I fell in love with his music originally. The other Mac DeMarco album I have is the This Old Dog album, and I am obsessed with this cover. Can I say that? Like, it's so spontaneous and random and quirky. And it's also yellow, which is my favorite color. So this is just such an adorable cover. I love it. And of course the music inside is the real gem. So I don't consider myself part of their fandom just because of how insane their fandom can be at times. But I am a fan. And this is the Blurryface album, which is their most recent? Or maybe second most recent. I think it's their most recent. If they came out with a new album, I do not know about it. And then The Vessel, which is their second most recent. And Vessel is probably my favorite of their albums. So kind of going along with the Beatles theme, I have a John Lennon, Yoko Ono double fantasy album, and John Lennon is my favorite of the Beatles, as well as just a role model and somebody who I think is an amazing artist and an amazing person. Alright, so one thing that you guys might think is kind of weird is I am actually a huge fan of classical music, and it's just something I listen to when I'm trying to study or when I'm just trying to relax and focus on something. So this is my favorite composer, Mozart, and this is my only Mozart album at the moment, but I also love the art on here. I think it's adorable. I also have other classical albums, such as, I believe there's 9 Beethoven albums in this set. I got it for $2 frickin' at the thrift store, which is why it looks like trash, but the albums inside are in great condition. We actually have a few more Beatles albums to go through, including the Beatles' second album, and this one has Roll Over Beethoven, and I believe this is the last, there's 2 more Beatles albums to go, including the 1962 to 1966 Beatles album. This one's great, amazing. It has Eleanor Rigby. I actually did a school project on that song once. Alright, so we're now on to the last Beatles album of the collection, which is the Beatles' White Album, and I've got to say this fits my aesthetic more than anything else, especially considering my room is completely bare white. Plain white has been an aesthetic of mine for a while lately, just, you know, that minimalist vibe. But this is my last Beatles album. It's the White Album, and it actually has 2 vinyls in it, which is great. I just have a few more pieces left, including the Star Wars electronic soundtrack, and this is definitely the geekiest thing in the collection. The last 2 albums are just 2 more classical albums, of course, to go with my classical collection for when I'm studying and whatnot, and that is a Bach Celebration album, as well as number 1 through 8 of Beethoven's symphonies, and yeah, so this is just more classical music. That completely concludes my record collection, guys. As you can see, I have a lot. There is actually more in my collection than just those albums, but I didn't want to share them all with you because there are a bunch, and a lot of them are hand-me-downs, which is why I'm able to afford to have this much, because records are very expensive. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you liked it, give it a thumbs up if you did, and if you guys enjoyed my videos and you want to see more, go ahead to my channel and hit the notification button so you can get updates whenever I post a new video. And also subscribe because, yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. You're the best. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and